Hello everybody, this is Brick, and I'm here with a comprehensive review of the NERF Elite 2.0 Shockwave RD-15. This was released in 2020. I found it at my local Target on July 22nd at $25 USD. So that's the retail price. It is not inflated for any measure, and I've already unboxed this thing, so I'm just going to go over a couple things before you find it in the stores. This part is not included right onto the blaster. The drum itself would be separate on the package itself. It does come with 30 darts, even though it can hold 15 at a time. They are all elite darts, but they are different colors of them in the newer blue and orange color scheme that is separate from the Elite 1.0 series, which I now have to call it 1.0. It's more of the metallic blue. It's kind of reminding me of the Cyber Strike series, like that kind of blue, and the orange in here is actually a bit darker than the standard NERF orange. It's kind of like on the Nail Biter or some of the Zombie Strike accessories, such as the Scavenger, I think also had something dark orange like that, and the attachment for the Scavenger for the stock. Speaking of which, this has a stock attachment point, barrel attachment point, and 3 rails. One on each side of the blaster, and one underneath the drum. This is a pump action blaster. It does not advertise on the box about SlamFire. It does not offer SlamFire, just to let you know in advance. This is claiming a 90-foot range of 27 meters. I don't have enough space in order to test that and prove that as actually being true or not. I only have at best a 20-foot range, but in that space, it has been able to reach 20 feet. So there's that, if you have close quarter combat. This is a-okay. Here it looks from the back side of the box, where it explains literally everything I've just said. And as I mentioned before, it is a $25 item. It fundamentally works like a SURGEFIRE, although I have not tested a SURGEFIRE, so I can't fully compare it to that. But it does have the same capacity. It has the same pump action enabled function to it in order to prime the blaster. And I believe the SURGEFIRE does have some tactical rails, but maybe not the same orientation or not the same spread of them. So let's get a look at this without the package in the way. There are also instructions included inside, so if you want to find more information about it and repairs and such, you can do so. Like I said before, the drum is separate when it's in the package, so once it's clipped in here, it's meant to stay in place. I've been able to shape this thing a couple times around, and it did not have any way of releasing. There is no button to release it, so that's something you would have to fix on your own if you wanted to have something else. This is a proprietary drum, so it does not have anything compatible currently in the NERF line, or even the Elite line, or in the Elite 2.0 line. I'm pretty sure this is a new design of a blaster from the ground up, basically, even though it has a lot of similar features to other blasters on the market. So, at least for right now, there's no drums available. I don't imagine they're going to sell drums separately for this, so it is kind of a proprietary thing to keep in mind. I have been able to use a variety of attachments with this over about an hour or two of testing. A lot of funky cosmetics, and nothing that actually matches the metallic blue that is in the Elite 2.0 line as of the release. So I can't really say there's anything fluently that will work with it from their stock versions. That's the kind of thing you would have to paint up separately. Maybe the clear stuff would work a-okay. I did a little bit of tape work on the end of this just to identify it, but I will be using this Chrono Barrel for my testing procedure to give you an idea about the initial barrel velocity. Compare that as you will with other chronographs. It is a different measure, of course, and I don't know how reliable that is compared to other chronographs. I haven't seen a good ratio or anything like that, so convert it as you may. And I will be testing it out with the Elites, and with Waffles, and with AccuStrike, and possibly Connect's K-Force. Because I have so many around, why not? Before we get to the firing procedure, I also want to mention about the Elite darts themselves. The 2.0 darts are the same exact type as the Elite 1.0 darts, the Modulus darts, the Doomlens darts. They're all in the same system. They are the same exact make and composition and weight and everything like that. You are definitely not getting a performance difference between these. So they are interchangeable, which is good, but they're not improving anything from, well, a not-so-proven formula. To compare the blues between them, this is what they look like for the Elite 2.0 darts. You get 15 of each of these, and here is a standard Elite blue dart. So it's a much lighter type, and like with the blaster, it makes it look more metallic. Here it is compared to an Adventure Force dart and a K-Force dart. I have a lot of types of darts that I could really test and eventually will on other videos. So here's just a quick look right then and there. I'm going to swap these around for the K-Force. So you can kind of see that it's somewhere in between the light blue that you would see on some blasters. I'm trying to think of ones officially that would work like that. And then the dark blue of the Elite line. Somewhere in between those. I believe Drac called it turquoise or swirlquoise. You get the idea. For more cosmetics about the blaster itself, it does have some decoration on one side of it, where it has the NERF logo that is painted and etched into the plastic. You have the Shockwave name etched into the plastic as well. This is actually cut out in the plastic to reveal the orange behind it for the Elite 2.0 look, as well as the dotted pattern. It does continue the dotted pattern at Elite 2.0 on the opposite side. This would be where the safety information is, as well as along the front. And this is not painted, but it does still say Shockwave on it. Now, as far as filling up the blaster, pretty easy to do from both sides without having to rotate it. You only have to rotate it for 2 darts, which is about 2 clicks, but it sounds so loud. I don't want to do it that often or too quickly, because I don't know if it's going to bust anything or if it's just a really heavy movement. The trigger itself is actually pretty heavy, pressing it back and forth, even without moving the rest of the priming handle. So let's get to testing it. Firing in feet per second at a 20-foot distance. 70.6, 76.9, 72.5, 65.8, 74.2, 72.5, 74.2, 61.0, 74.7, 75.5, 73.2, 66.2, 77.7, 70.4, 66.1. Firing with Adventure Force waffle darts. 58.8, 58.1, 64.6, 52.1, 63.6, 54.9, 73.9, 52.2. Did it get stuck? Oh, that one got stuck. Hold on. That one also got stuck. It's really not taking New Adventure Force that well. There was already one that had jammed inside of the blaster. It was easy to unjam. It just fell back into place. There were a few that fell out with very minimal velocity. That's another one. Just stuck inside the barrel. 41.3. 41.7. 34.2. What was it, the condition of the darts? I'm not sure. I thought these were all in good shape. Hold on, I'm gonna add in a few more. No, not that one. That one's a bad one. Nope, got stuck again. 75.1. 55.0. 42.7. What? That did not look right. Yep, got stuck again. 54.0. Stuck in the barrel. Testing with brand new AccuStrike darts, fresh out of the package. 58.5. 62.3. 54.7, 63.9, got stuck in the barrel. 68.3. 66.7. Got stuck in the barrel. 69.8. 70.5. 70.9. 73.3. 73.0. 61.8. 67.8. Let's try those two that got stuck in the barrel before. Give them another try. $74.1. Again, stuck in the barrel. That did not look good. One or two of them bent in the packaging, it looks like. Here's a fresh one. 68.5. Testing new condition Connects K-Force darts. I've actually seen some of them in some blasters have some pretty good numbers compared to Elite and compared to Adventure Force. So I thought, why not just have a silly option in here. If you want me to test other darts, let me know in the comments down below and I'll upload on a separate video. 61.4. 63.6. 65.1, and a little bit of foam got off of that one. 65.5. 56.1. 69.8. 63.9. 68.1. 61.0. 68.9. 68.1. 68.6. 62.7. 66.3, 69.0. If anything, they're very consistent. So as a quick rundown of all of the averages from all of the dart testing for N-Strike Elite 2.0 darts, Elite 1.0 darts, let's be real, it was 71.43 feet per second. For the Adventure Force Dart Zone, whichever one it might have been, 54.813. We have 66.94 for the AccuStrike and 65.206 for the Connects K-Force. Yeah, Connects K-Force was pretty close to AccuStrike, and even after AccuStrike, 71 for the Elite darts. I don't know how I feel about those numbers, but that's what I got. That's as best as I can do for now until I get the other chronograph set up and do another test of them sometime later. There will be an extensive video about a lot of chronographing. And 54.813 on the Adventure Force darts seems a bit odd. Usually they perform better than Elites, and that's a low number. That's underneath everybody in the group. So again, that might have just been because there were some reading errors or because of the manufacturing between Adventure Force or Dart Zone, whichever ones they actually were. I couldn't tell a difference, honestly, when I first grabbed them. So there's the numbers. Now let's get to the cosmetics. When it comes to the ability to customize a blaster, I really do like that there are several options on here. It reminds me of the SURGEFIRE in form and the way it runs, even though I don't have one in order to test for performance. I do think that this is superior because of the options it gives you. You have a barrel attachment on the front, stock attachment on the back. You got 3 rails along the middle of the blaster, and there's some pretty good customization available for it. I am 5'6", and I don't know how you measure hand size, but there we are, if that helps. As far as barrels go, I personally would go with a Chrono Barrel because it's good for keeping track of ammo. With something that's 15 darts, you probably could count it off yourself, but it's also good for the length of the blaster, that even if I have it held like this without a stock on it, it's still a good range for me to see the numbers and still see the target without getting too distracted between them. So if I need to refill, that works. I would also recommend, because I personally like this one a lot, the Recon Mark II barrel. It's very cheap plastic though. That's how it always feels, no matter what blaster I put it on. But stylistically, it feels right. I always like adding this onto a blaster, just have a little blunt end to it without being an extended barrel or anything like that. I think it's a fine form, and maybe with a cosmetic paint job to match with this. I don't know what color this is officially called, but if you get something close to that, I think it would smoothly look like it belongs with it. I don't know what you'd actually use on the rail underneath, but it's there if you want it. So, moving on to the stocks, I actually have 2 recommendations. Again, this is based on my body type. So, for me, I like using the regulator stock. I will say, it does actually feel pretty good. And even anything around the regulator stock range is pretty comfortable for me. I can still use this back and forth. Doesn't feel too elongated. But there is kind of a problem with this. Part of the function of the regulator stock is that you can add a magazine into here for extra storage. Why would you need that on a blaster that doesn't take a magazine? Yeah, that really doesn't really help there, but it still feels comfortable. You could completely ignore that factor on it and still use it very well. Maybe it doesn't look the prettiest, like flowing around the blaster. Even if you paint it up, it's got a weird, awkward gap to it, but I still think it's a fine stock in general to use. Next one I would recommend, I actually was going to use the Raider and Rampage stock in here, or whatever it's called, Thunderstorm or something from Super Soaker, and that can be adjustable, which is totally fine. I have also tried the Chop stock, and that works a-okay, even in its lowest form. Sometimes abrasive, but still, can do the job. I actually like the storage stock with the Modulus series. This one, again, is also adjustable, but it's just enough that doesn't feel too out of place and still gives you enough hand room, even at the lowest setting, in order to fit along with the blaster. So, again, for my body type, for my playstyle, I think this is a-okay to use. You could theoretically use this as the storage intent for holding darts in there, but you're not going to hold 15 in there on its own. You could use it in combination with other stuff, maybe some real attachment related stuff, in order to get more out of your blaster and have an extra refill right on hand. For that, I would recommend either the 5 or the 8 round of darts that you can slide along the top or the bottom of this. I wouldn't really recommend it under the bottom because there's a very good chance that as you're sliding back and forth on here, you're going to hit this and knock out some darts or two. Even just moving this back and forth, when I first tried it out, I actually knocked my hand into this rail, area for the drum. So I feel like if pressed too hard, that's going to knock out the darts by accident very easily. Even if you have the 5 dart attachment put underneath here from, I think, the Heartbreaker bow, that might not really actually help. And it doesn't seem like too resourceful to lift back there. I don't know. I would actually recommend on the top rail, try using the 5 dart drum or rack instead of the 8 dart for the back one. The 8 dart is a little too long for that, especially again for my type. You'd have the rail coming up much closer to your body if you have this thing cheek-ended like that. So you're really not going to have an easy time with, again, either hitting those darts or those darts getting in the way or pressing against them by accident. So I would recommend adding the 8 dart rack along the top rail, if it would actually click in place. There we go. Thank you very much. And that doesn't seem too abrasive. So, okay, good, all good there. This would give you 13 right on the top of the blaster, and then you could use the storage stock for a couple more just to get that 15 round refill right on top of your blaster. You could always just keep them in a dump pouch separately, which is totally fine. Another recommendation I would have, I don't usually recommend sights. They don't usually do much different for any kind of playstyle, but sometimes they look nice. I would actually recommend the Scavenger sight, even though this thing includes a mag clip or, mag holder on the end of it. This one actually works fairly well being on the back one of the blaster. I thought it would work better on the front, but I held this together and this looks a-okay. It's not pressing my face right into the sight itself and is something that I can see very well with and feel like I'm actually accurate. I don't think it really is helping with accuracy, but it does feel and look a little bit better. This is actually not that useful, even if you have a 15 or so, some magazine that actually holds 15 darts or so, like an 18 round, whatever you have available. This would not actually help you because, again, with the magazine argument, you're not able to add a magazine directly in there. For this case, you could be a little bit easier on picking the darts out from there and fitting them back into the drum if you have enough practice, but it's something that I wouldn't really recommend personally. I feel like that just won't be enough routine to actually get into that, drum. So I feel like the best option is either having a dart rack on it or just having a dump pouch. I may or may not recommend the storage stock. It depends on what you like. So fundamentally, the Shockwave works just as it's advertised. I mean, I couldn't really test with the 90-foot ranges, but it still does everything else mechanically right. I haven't seen any jams, I haven't seen any malfunctions. The only jams that I had were from darts outside of the Elite series, so it's something that might be of my own factor and nothing I could say about the product when it was purchased. I will say it's kind of a bulky blaster. It feels a bit more weighty than I expected it to, but it still handles okay. It feels right for my size, except for the fact of the foregrip. Personally, this may get annoying. It doesn't happen every single time that I've been firing it, and I've fired it many times at this point, even in the same night, but I have had to adjust things. The first time, if it's done too fast, it really just buckles into your hand at the very back of it. So if it's pushed too much like that over a period of time, it might bruise, but it's something that, I don't know. They could have done a slightly less, slanted angle with this. That might have worked a little bit easier for someone my size, or even just had it as a straight foregrip. That would be okay. Wouldn't take away that much from the design of the blaster, in my opinion. I do like the cosmetic options that are available with this from front to back. I may not use every single one of them, but I like that the option is there for people who do. And I do think that most people will want the stock option to have something else to hold it with. Holding it like this almost feels like a hip sort of thing without a stock. Some people might be okay with it like this. I've actually done a joking sniper status version I'm not going to show in this video, and that was all kinds of silly, holding it very closely. So as far as a $25 blaster, this is okay. I mean, there aren't a lot of them out in NERF brand exactly around that range. There's a SURGEFIRE, as I mentioned before. There was a Roto Fury many years before that, but in Mega. And I can't really think of that many in between that have recently come out. So this is an okay option if you're looking at just the NERF brand. But if you're looking outside of NERF and you're looking at the foam industry entirely, if you want to call it that, it's there are definitely better options out there. At stock value, at around the $20 price mark, even less than the $25 that this thing is asking for. They usually offer more capacity, a more comfortable grip to it. Some of them offers a stock attachment that is not changeable, but is still comfortable. And there's even some that are coming out real soon, like the Villainator, everyone's excited for, with, again, more capacity and much better ergonomics. So take this as you will. It's an okay blaster. I appreciate that there was something unique, that wasn't a complete repaint of something already existing in the Elite line, that it was actually worked up from something that was done previously, but with a bit more features to it cosmetically. But overall, it might be the only Elite 2.0 blaster I'm going to pick up for right now. I don't really see much improvement that I really need to pick up more of these, and even this one by itself I wouldn't say is a new primary or anything like that. Might be fun to still play around with, but I've seen better options, and I am also a bit disappointed there's no SlamFire. I was actually hoping for that, but it is what it is. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If there's something else I could have done for the review, or any other questions that you have about the blaster. If there are more testing procedures that you'd like me to do in the future, whether with this blaster or other NERF ones, or other reviews in general. I am actually looking through trying to test out a lot of NERF blasters, whether or not for review purposes. So I'd love to hear your recommendations or what you would like to see up next, and I will try to push them forward. We'll see you next time with more videos.